and welcome to another episode of the Digital Embellishment Show. Today with me, I have a very special guest, Adam Stewart, which is the owner-operator over at Fresh Printz in Oklahoma. Adam, what's going on?
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. We've been following your work. You're really doing a fantastic job, and I know we've talked a bunch over the past couple of years. Adam, tell me just a little bit about Fresh Printz and about yourself and your experiences with digital embellishment.
Yeah, so I have actually kind of a unique story getting into digital embellishments. It kind of started back in 2011. Uh, I was running for a nonprofit organization. I was just running a Ricoh printer, and the sales rep that sold us that printer, I became pretty good friends with.
Mm-hmm.
And so within about a year, he calls me up. He's like, "Hey, come outside." And I was like, "All right." I go outside, and he pops open his back hatch, and he has all these embellishment samples in the back. And I'd never seen anything like it. And I'm like, "What is this?" And he's like, "I don't really know." And I'm like, so we started asking questions. He's like, "I'm going to look more into it." And I was like, "Yeah, that's awesome." And so he started researching it, and within about 3 months, he comes back again. He's like, "I think I really want to get into it." He's like, if I buy a machine, will you quit your job and come and run it? And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." I didn't want to be where I was anymore. And he's like, all right. I think I'm going to do it. So I didn't hear from him for a long time, like months. But then it was like 3 months later, he pops in the door and he's like, "I'm back." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I'm buying this machine." I was like, "You're kidding me."
Wow.
So it was like about a month later, he's like, "Put your notice in." He's like, "It lands on the floor." It was May 8th. And I didn't know anything about printing. And May 9th, I started my whole entire print career with embellishments.
Wow. Wow. What a story. That's a hell of a story. So you joined with this gentleman. You decided just to off a whim, let's go start a business. Let's do print embellishment.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all you guys offered? Were you like an embellisher to the trade? Were you doing printing and embellishment? Like, tell us more about Fresh Printz and how that business has developed over the past year since you started getting into it. Tell us a little bit the story about how you've been able to grow since jumping into the market for the first time.
Yeah, so we actually partnered up with another print company that is called Blue Stem Integrated, and they had a HP Indigo, which works really well with this technology. So they agreed to let us put the machine in that building, and so that's kind of how we kind of partnered up. It was a real small print shop at that time, just an Indigo, one cutter. Basically like a flood UV coater. So we quickly kind of outgrew that location and ended up to where our current location is now, which is about 33,000 square feet, almost 40 employees now.
Wow.
And we just grew that since 2013, and we moved over to this location, I think, in 2018.
Very nice. And so do you guys have like a particular market that you're really serving? Like, what equipment do you guys now have? You guys also have, I believe you still have the Indigos. I know that you have a jet varnish as well, which is a big part. I know you've been kind of going back and forth in the user community. You're one of the first owner operators actually as part of the community that I think the MGI is launching. Yeah. But what kind of, tell me a little bit about the kind of work you guys are finding today. Like, what is some of the trends that you're seeing in terms of what's the hot markets and what was going hot, what is going cold when it comes to embellishments?
Right now, what's really hot for us is we're doing a lot of college football credentials and mailers and pretty much a lot of the print and embellishment. They embellish everything now, but that's huge.
Recruitments and all that stuff.
Yeah. So they have a high school football player. They want to come to their college, so they send them this big nice package that's 6 passes of foil and 4 passes of other foil. It can get crazy at times.
Wow. I remember one of the coolest pieces I think I ever saw was I have our good friends over at Alexander's in Utah, which were one of the first one of the first people ready to buy this technology in North America, and one of my first clients in North America. They were doing work for BYU, and I remember BYU did a piece where it was a recruitment piece, and it was just like this little a gatefold that you would open up, and you would open up. There was like the BYU logo jersey,
Hmm.
and the jersey was like a texture, so it felt like a jersey.
Yeah.
And then there was the player's name in gold, so variable data, their
Hmm.
name embossed in foil on the jersey face, which was insane. I had never seen anything like that,
Yeah.
and still to this day, I think, and I don't know if you're seeing this too. There's it's so easy to do variable data with embellishments, but we're not seeing brands really taking advantage of what you can do with variable data. Are you seeing that, or is that something that's starting to kind of pick up for you guys?
We haven't really dove into the variable data. I can do it. I just we haven't done any yet. We haven't really been marketing it
Right.
just because it's a little scary,
Yeah.
when it comes to making sure data and all that. So I know it's coming. So we'll
But you're not the only one.
no, probably not.
No, no, it's crazy. It's amazing the technology is available, but nobody's really pushing it
Yeah.
out there in a way that makes. Well, I mean, I'm sure there are people who are pushing it,
Hmm.
but I think for large part of the cross section, at least when it comes to the inkjet based digital embellishments, we're just not seeing that much use of variable, which has always been surprising to me. I always thought that was going to be like the number one differentiator, but not really.
Yeah. I think once we get one or two under our belt, it'll be a lot. We'll be more apt to say, hey, let's do the guys' names in variable. But it's all about, I think, getting that one or two under your belt so you can start feeling comfortable selling it.
So tell me, Adam, how does a sale typically go? Like you go to a client, you said that you were running the machines pretty nonstop, but you don't have a sales team. Is that correct?
Right. We
It's
don't.
just word of mouth.
Yeah, it's been word of mouth since back in 2012. Whenever I first got the embellishment machine, I was the one driving around town. I made little sample books, with the left side was just printed and the right side was, had the embellishment. And I just ran through, drove all the way through Tulsa and to every print shop and passed all those out and let everybody know that it's here in town now. And
Yeah.
I mean, it grew very slow in the beginning, but once we kind of started saturating the town, everybody just knew it was here.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I think the before and after is a great way to sell it.
Hmm.
That's one of the ways that we used to when I was back with MGI selling the stuff is I'd always try to get our samples to be two-sided printed, one with and one without embellishment. And the big point is, how impactful is this compared to how impactful is that? And all of a
Right.
sudden you see people reach out and touch it and
Hmm.
feel it and be like, look at your thumbs, look at what you're doing right now. What do you think your clients are going to do when they get this stuff?
Yeah.
And it's just I think 10 out of 10 people will actually reach out and start penning that print, which I've always thought was kind of a very fun psychological thing to zero in on.
Oh yeah.
Do you find the same thing? Everybody just kind of just touches it when you show them this stuff.
Oh yeah. I had good success with the left and the right. That way they can see it at the same time. But I tried the flip, technique, but when it's right next to each other, they're like, immediately, and then you have to let them know, this is not only for this, but let's start playing with some of your next print pieces, and we can customize the way you want it to look or the way we feel it should look.
So obviously, you've grown a successful embellishment business. I'm sure that you've probably had your deal of wrangling with files and things like that. If you could tell designers out there one thing about designing properly for this type of technology, what would you tell them?
Vector.
Vector. What do you mean? Elaborate. I
Yeah.
think that's a great answer, by the way.
A lot of times we get files that are not vector. Vector files, from my experience, they're perfect for you can select things, and your embellishments will just look a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
You can get by with it if it's if you know what you're doing. You can make stuff still look good, but the higher quality that print and varnish files are, it's like night and day.
No, I agree. I agree. I 100% agree. And I've always said that the same thing. So I love that you've obviously picked that up, and I hope that it's a good part of your education of educating your clients on how to design for this.
Yeah.
Adam, you've been doing this for a while. If you had one little piece of advice for like other people that are getting into embellishment for the first time, like with all that wisdom that you've probably accumulated on a lot of different systems and a lot of different areas of business growth, what would be like one of the key things you would tell people starting from zero, getting into this game for the first time? Like, what would you tell yourself?
Don't be afraid to play with stuff. Waste varnish. Play with different materials, different laminates. Don't be afraid to don't be afraid you're going to break something. If you do break something, you can get it fixed. That's what when we first started, it's like, well, we don't want to waste varnish. We don't want to, let's not print 10 sheets over because that's just wasteful. Now we're like, let's print 50 extra sheets because I want to try 16 different things.
So experimentation for you
Yeah.
was a key point of
Mm-hmm.
not just understanding what you could do internally and understanding your capabilities, but also showing it to your clients and being like, we could do it like this, but we can also do it like this, like this, like this, like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and we like playing with different substrates too. A lot of Teslins and whatever we can get our hands on, we're throwing it through the machine and see what it does. So.
Well, listen, before we go, I just wanted to thank you. Obviously, we saw you and you were part of one of the first operator meetups where we're getting on the Jet Force. And I just wanted to thank you for your nice messages that you sent. Apparently, we had a conversation about uncoated materials, which was, from what I understand, the timing was pretty good on that conversation that you had with some of the other people in that room. Do you want to walk us through what happened there? Or?
Yeah, that was funny. We had that meeting, and I remember I'm like, yeah, I'm really wanting to try this, and it wasn't the very next day. A client just dropped off a box of sheets, and I'd open it up, and I'm like, well, it's uncoated. They know better than this. And then I was like, wait, maybe I can try this. So then I, did some of the things that we learned from you and Matt, and the client picked it up, and they're like, we loved it, and I think they're planning to send some more in. So
that's amazing, man. That's a great story.
Yeah.
That made us. Yeah, I can't tell you with Matt how happy that little story made us, because it is about trying to get the word out on how to do some of this stuff, and find yourselves in situations where client drops off a pallet that's got the wrong sheet, wrong substrate on it. It's like you have to be able to find ways to get it done, right? And that's a big part of, I think, what this embellishment community is now starting to realize.
Yeah.
So listen, Adam, a big thank you. If we want to send you work, if we want to send work to Fresh Printz to get done in the area, tell us, how do we send you work? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
The best way, you can email me at adam@freshprintz.net. It's FRESHPRINTZ.net. And I watch that email like a hawk. So
all right, we'll make sure to put the link in the description below. Adam, you are an absolute killer. We really appreciate everything that you're doing for the industry. Keep up the great work, and let's keep talking. Let's keep learning from one another.
You got it.
And a big thank you, my friend.
I appreciate you.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
Ciao.